Here we go. So, Indiana loses. The first almost 10 minutes of that game, Indiana couldn't make a bucket for nothing. They couldn't hit the side of a barn. Um, there wasn't very good play. Indiana did not play well. Kansas was making everything. I don't know what the percentage was behind the arc, but if they put it up, it was going in 90% of the time. It seemed like. It didn't matter if they threw up a hook, a blind shot, everything was just dropping. And then on the opposite side, Indiana just wasn't making anything. So Indiana overall did not play well. And I want you all to understand this is strictly, and maybe as I go along in this journey, being on YouTube, I will tend to get to more of the actual numbers on and results of the actual facts of a game. But this is just a fan's reaction and ideas on what's going on. So Indiana just overall, I mean, Davis couldn't do anything. It wasn't until the second half before Davis got going, and he didn't get launched by no means. However, he did well. He had quite a few block shots. He had quite a few rebounds. He wasn't. They weren't feeding him when he was open, and they were force feeding him when he wasn't. And it just, Indiana had numerous turnovers. I think they had 10 in the first half. So it just was not a game Indiana was going to win. And Husafino's first game back, and he looked good in all reality. He hit, I think, 3 or 4 threes that we really needed. And then in the closing quarter, Kansas just pulled away and blew us out. There ain't much more to say about that. And I really don't want to go too much into the Colts game because there was so much promise. There was so much enthusiasm. First half, 33-0. Now, I want to say this. At 33-0, that was defense and special teams. That's what that was. Matt Ryan had 1 touchdown for, I think might have been 45 or 50 yards drive. He had 1 throwing touchdown. And I want to say this too. Horrible officiating. That entire game, horrible officiating on both sides. That was not one side, that was both sides. There were some horrible calls. Colts came out lucky, which they lost anyways, but they fumbled the ball and they blew the whistle for forward progress. I think they were blowing the whistle way too early for forward progress throughout the entire game. They did that twice, and Indianapolis both was on the positive side of that. The fumble to get turned over to the Vikings, but there's horrible officiating. Matt Ryan did not do shit. He had that 1 touchdown. He looked like Matt Ryan. He looked like Matt Ryan's been looking all season. Difference being he didn't turn the ball over. He did not throw a pick, although he came close a couple times, and he did not fumble the ball. So in that aspect, Matt Ryan did improve. Did he improve enough for being a starter? No. I don't think Nick Foles would be any better. I don't. And if they put him in, I hope they prove me wrong. I hope he proves me wrong. But at this point, does it really fucking matter? It doesn't. I am a Colts fan, always will be, and I will watch their last 3 games. Now, Jeff Saturday, they have made a big improvement. They have. Their offense still isn't rolling. And it's not the play calling. It's the execution. Whether that falls on Matt Ryan or not, it is the execution of the calls. And Saturday's saying he's simplifying stuff. So how simple does an offense need to get before they all get on the same page? Don't know. But yeah, it was a horrible loss. You have a 33-0 going into halftime. You let them come back. Our defense played absolutely insane that first half. Coming out of halftime, I don't know what happened. Defense was sloppy, played way too soft. Just They were people wide open. You had a screenplay go for a touchdown that 30 people could have touched. That he should have been tackled. I really do not understand the flip flop on this game. All you had to do is drain the clock, but we couldn't move the ball. Matt Ryan couldn't throw it. We couldn't run it very well. I think we had 160 yards running. It may have been a little more than that. I know at one point they announced it was 157 maybe. So I'm sure we got over 160, but it all came in the first half. The second half, they just could not keep it going. They could not get going. I'm disappointed in their play in the second half. It looked to be, I wouldn't say a guaranteed win, but it looked to be like everybody was on the right page. Everybody was moving as a team. But all that scoring, 90% of all that scoring was special teams, and it was the defense. So our offense is not fixed. Our offensive line did hold up almost throughout the entire game. But then again, like I said, in the second half, offensive line couldn't do nothing. I wouldn't say that. I'm going to take that back. I take that statement back. I retract it. Offensive line did not look as good in the second half as they did the first. They were blocking. They were doing a decent job. But there was quite a few times that they were getting to Matt Ryan, especially in the second half. I think Matt was sacked 3 times this game. The offensive line is doing their job. He is being rushed a little bit, but you cannot stop every single rush. You can't. But if you're saying the offensive line's doing enough, which I think they're doing enough to win the game, then the offensive line's not your problem. No, by no means are they perfect, but if your offense still is not scoring, you got to look somewhere else. Is it the routes aren't being ran properly? The quarterback not throwing the ball when he's supposed to? Your receiver's not getting open? I mean, something has to be blamed. And I personally don't think it's the offensive line. And I really don't know if it's the receivers. There's a few times there's been some open receivers and Matt Ryan hasn't found them. So does this go on Matt Ryan? I actually think this game is. Because we were winning 33-0. Matt Ryan had 1 touchdown. He was in the red zone 3 times, and we couldn't score. So our offensive line did not get the push it needed for the first down. That was, what was it, 4th and inches probably. It might have been closer to a yard. Matt Ryan, quarterback sneaks it. We don't get the push. They blow, me personally, I think they blow the play dead too early. I mean, yes, that should have been played out. I understand that they're trying to keep players from getting hurt. I do understand that. But at what point does that whistle interfere with the actual play of the game? Because that overall could have and should have been a first down. And I don't know if it would have changed the game. The outplay of the game, I really don't. But that should have been a first down. But then again, on the flip side, they do the same shit. Fumble should have been a touchdown. And the Colts got lucky and it wasn't. So, anyhow, it's a, 36-39 loss. Colts lose the game. And they cannot use excuses because they were a really good team. Yes, they're a decent team, but that wasn't the problem. The problem was our offense could not score especially when it needed to. Couldn't move the ball. And all these dinks and dunks, we got to go deep eventually. They're playing short because that's all we're doing. We can't run the ball very well. Although we did get we got some power runs. But we can't move the ball very well because everything we're throwing is 5 yards past the friggin' the line. I mean, it's line of scrimmage is where the ball starts. It should not be where you throw the ball. I mean, you're only throwing the ball 3 to 5 yards past the line of scrimmage every single play. What's going to happen is you're going to have that bunched up. It's all going to be bunched up. So if it's a run play, it's going to be just, it's going to be broken up. And I mean, they're going to block every gap, and there is nobody going to be able to run the ball in the middle. You might get some power runs, which we did today. That's where a lot of our runs came to be, was a bunch of power runs. And then you throw a screen on something that you've been doing all day, these little short dunks and dinks and dunks, and you throw a screen, they're not going to work. I think we threw 3 or 4 of them, and they were blown out of the water because we're not getting anything deep, nothing within 5 yards, and it just looks bad. It looks bad. It does. There's no common sense in throwing these screens when we can't throw anything deeper than 5 or 6 yards. I think we got a couple of 8-yarders that turned into 10 or 12 because Pittman and I think Campbell was another recipient of one of those. They get yards after the catch, which is fine. You need your receivers to get yards after the catch, but you need to throw the ball beyond the first yard markers once in a while. You have to. You got to get people to bite. So, anyhow, Indiana gets blown out. Colts lose on a game they should have won. And I think I'm going to have me a beer. Oh, man. I am worn out emotionally. And I thought about doing this game live and go to reaction mode. I'm glad I didn't, because I would look like a fool. I was calling the Colts to win this game after the first half, and I just, was I wrong? Anyhow, beside the point, I am a little depressed, a little worn out. I'll be okay. Hope you all will too. I'll be watching their next game. I am a Colts fan through and through, regardless how pissed off I am about this game, or about their play. Hoping they figure this shit out before next season. Anyhow, if you like, then subscribe. And if you subscribe, please hit the like button. Please, and ring the bell. I will eventually go live. I'm looking forward to it. I just got to work out a good time with my hours, and I've got to figure out the chats as well. Have not done that yet. So anyhow, you guys have a good day, and hopefully we'll win another one.